fighting voices in my mind that say I'm not enough. Every single lie that tells me I may never measure up. Am I more than just the sum of every high and every low? Remind me once again just who I am, 'cause I need to know.
Ooh, oh, you say that I'm loved when I can't feel a thing. You say that I'm strong when I think I am weak. You say that I'm held when I am falling short, and when I don't belong. You say that I am yours, and I believe, yes I believe what you say to me. I believe.
The only thing that matters now is everything you think of me. Cause in you I find my worth, I find my identity.
Ooh, oh, you say that I'm loved when I can't feel a thing. You say that I'm strong when I think I'm weak. You say that I'm held when I am falling short, and when I don't belong. You say that I am yours, and I believe, yes I believe what you say to me. I believe.
Taking all I have and now I'm laying it at your feet. You'll have every failure, God. You'll have every victory.
Ooh, oh, you say that I'm loved when I can't feel a thing. You say that I'm strong when I think I'm weak. You say that I'm held when I am falling short, and when I don't belong. You say that I'm yours, and I believe, yes I believe what you say to me. I believe, yes I believe, yes I believe what you say to me. I believe.
Please join me in prayer. Today, this glorious day, it was brought to us in living color by our Creator. This is a renewal of spring in all we are and all we see. We are God's renewal in our commitment to the infinite possibilities within us. We are God's creations. We are God's love. And today, this is what we celebrate. We live in the infinite love of this Spirit, and this Spirit is where our gratitude is undeniably lovely. We are grateful for our time together this afternoon as we celebrate all that we are in this moment. And we are so grateful for this group of musicians who just enlighten us, lift us, and make us filled with joy. For Reverend Jen and her beautiful message, which will inspire us. For all the volunteers who have made this celebration possible. And especially we celebrate all those who are celebrating God's love wherever they are, whether it is a temple, on a mountaintop, at a kitchen table, or a walk in the woods. All are God's life, God's love, God's creations. And we are so grateful that we have the opportunity to be, each of us, one of God's creations. The Creator that has made us all perfect, whole, and divine. For this, and so very much more, we express our gratitude. Please join me in saying together, and so it is. The first of our words of inspiration comes from Manith Adaji. In this beautiful world, anything is possible, but only when we believe wholeheartedly and try. The author of Power versus Force said this. He is David R. Hawkins. Force can bring satisfaction, but only power gives us joy. Victory over others can bring satisfaction, but victory over ourselves brings us joy. From our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes. I live in the faith that there is a presence and a power greater than I am that nurtures and supports me in ways that I can only even imagine.
So we have been talking for a whole month now about vulnerability. For some of us, it is not comfortable. Some of you wish I had spoken about it maybe for 5 minutes the first week and just shut up about it, but that's not how it worked out. So here we are bringing the month to a close in our theme, and we follow the global theme for all centers for spiritual living. So a lot of centers are bringing forth the same energy and the same conversations every week, and that's so wonderful to know that we're bringing this energy in and we're sending it out and we're taking it out into the world, and it's not necessarily the exact same message, but similar messages around it. And what we want to look at today is we want to look at the idea that vulnerability also means power and possibility. And that's the piece that I want to talk to you about a little bit today, because when we consider showing up authentically, when we allow ourselves to show up and just be real, to be vulnerable, to be who we are, what happens is we begin to embrace more of the genuineness of the truth of who each one of us is. And when I show up as me, then I'm able to allow you to show up as you. And it's just such a wonderful catch-22, if you want to call it that. It's just such a wonderful process to look at it that way and to get a sense of that. And what we do is we embrace the truth of who we are. We move away from avoiding, ignoring, and pretending that wasn't me, pretending that didn't come out of my mouth, pretending I didn't do that, and go into that place of, okay, it is me. And I am a child of God. I am an expression of the one. We all are. Yay. Thank God. That helps us move forward. So that's what we want to look at today. And so I wanted to talk about this. I have a quote here from Desmond Tutu that says, "My humanity is bound up in yours, for we can only be human together." Yeah, I don't know if you thought about that. But for us to talk about humankind and human nature and that expression of who we are and how we are, we have got to be in the arena with other humans. So just think about that. If we're discounting, discrediting, and canceling out our friends because we don't think the same way and we don't agree with everything, eventually we're not going to be in that little compartment of humanity. We're going to be out there kind of hanging out all by ourselves. So we want to think about that. And I think that for us today, we're kind of learning to live a new way. I know you don't remember this, but a couple of years ago, the entire planet was put on restriction. And we were told, go home, stay home, don't talk to anybody, don't touch anybody, and for Pete's sake, don't go anywhere where there are groups of people gathered. Stay safe. And, I thought, well, this isn't going to be a big deal. What are we going to do? 2 weeks? 2 weeks max, we'll be back. Yeah, that didn't happen. So what has happened to us is we moved into that place of feeling protected, possibly, feeling safe, maybe, feeling comfortable at home, dealing with some of the alone time, maybe. And now we're back into the world of the population. And guess what? We forgot how to behave. I did. I don't know about you. I'm still struggling, and I've been back for a couple years now, and it's like, oh my gosh, I still find myself picking up my right foot and placing it gently in my mouth, and sometimes not so gentle. So we get to look at that, and we get to consider this, and we get to look at this idea that Desmond Tutu gives us, is that when we are with humans, we get to have that experience of being human. So Centers for Spiritual Living has a global vision that I think really fits at this point right here. I'm going to share it with you. I'm sure you've heard it. We envision all people, all beings, and all life as expressions of God. We see a world in which every person lives in alignment with their highest spiritual principle, emphasizing unity with God and connection with each other. A world in which individually and collectively we are called to a higher state of consciousness and action. Wow. That's the world we envision. Now we're going to talk about what in the heck are we doing about it. What are we doing, each one of us individually and us collectively, to bring that forth? To create the world where everyone feels safe, where everyone can show up in their true, authentic expression of who they are. So the first thing I want to look at is that idea of power, because we're talking about power and possibilities. So let's talk about power for a second. Marek Kosniowski gives us this quote: "Behind me is infinite power. Before me is endless possibility, and around me is boundless opportunity." Oh my goodness. Let's get up every day and speak that to the universe. I love this quote. It has such meaning, and it talks about that power. Behind me, Spirit's got my back. Spirit is supporting each and every one of us all the time. All the time. We might think that it's only when we call on Spirit, but Spirit's right there all the time. And before me is endless possibility, because if I have power and I'm allowing that power to move in me, through me, show up as me, I have endless possibility. Nothing can hold me back or hold me down. And around me is the boundless opportunity. My dear friends, I do not care where you are on the age spectrum. I do not care where you think you are in that wonderful thing we call a lifespan on planet Earth. It is not too late to choose to step into your power, the endless possibility, and the boundless opportunity. Today. You can do this today. It's still early enough in the afternoon. You can do this afternoon. So Edwin Harvey gives us this quote, and we're looking at that idea of power again. He says, a day without prayer is a day without blessing, and a life without prayer is a life without power. So, oh my goodness, at least now we know where to start. If we want to adapt into that power, if we want to own our power, a good place to start is with prayer. There is power in prayer. And what you get to know is you're not going to just believe this, you get to know it. You get to know that as you speak the words of spiritual mind treatment, or affirmative prayer as we often call it, that you are setting a precedent for your life, your very life, this very moment. And Spirit responds. And sometimes responds so quickly in my life that my head is spinning because I'm thinking, did I finish the prayer? Because here we already are, and here's my answer. Here's my solution. Here's where I'm going. Here's what's happening. So we get to believe it. You know, I found a really cute story about a congregation years ago, and pretty good group of people. You know, we'll say that they were a good group of people. And they were agitated because there was a bar right across the street from the church. Now, I don't know whose idea that was, but that was the reality. And so they were praying on a regular basis for something to happen at that bar. Well, one night, there was a horrendous thunderstorm. The bar was hit by lightning. Lightning caught the building on fire. The building burned to the ground. No one was hurt. Nobody was hurt. No one was harmed in this story. The owner of the bar immediately called his attorney and filed a lawsuit against the church. And they got to go to court. And they got to provide evidence, and they got to talk about who did what and who said what. And the community members, the church community, was saying, no. We didn't have anything to do with this. We didn't have anything to do with this. And the bar owner and members of the community from the bar were saying, oh, yes, they did. They did this. The judge heard all the evidence, if you want to call it that, heard all the complaints, heard all the arguments. And he said, you know, I'm just not sure how to rule on this. But there's one thing that is crystal clear. The members of the bar have a greater belief in prayer than any of the religious members in this room. So when I tell you I want you to believe in prayer and know that it's going to come forth, yeah, your prayers will be answered. Oh, yes, they will. And so we want to pay attention to that because that's how we own our power. That's where we step into that place of power. Paulo Coelho says this: if you think adventure is dangerous, try routine. It's lethal. Now, I never use the word routine, I always use the word boredom. If things get too routine for me, I get bored. You don't want to see me bored. When I first came to the New Dawn community, I think I made a comment about that and how much I love change. And then, holy Moses, I didn't know what I was putting into place for that. And I'm not totally responsible for all of it because some of y'all contributed too. But anyway, it never dawned on me about that whole idea of routine, that some people get up and the first thing they do every morning is wash their face, or the first thing they do is brush their teeth, or the first thing they do, whatever they do first thing, and then they have a second thing, and then they have a third thing, because I don't live in that world. I don't do the same thing in the same order any day. And it's really starting to mess with my head now that I am past that age of what they call senior citizen, because I can't remember half the stuff I thought I was going to do before I left the bedroom and the bathroom, and then I'm downstairs 3 hours later, it's like, oh, wait. Did I do what I was going to do? That type of thing. So anyhow, routine can be lethal. Don't follow my guide, because who knows how confused I'll be before I get done. So, years ago, there was a group of 16, 17-year-old kids in biology class, and they had Mr. Marsden as their teacher, and they loved Mr. Marsden. He just brought life to the classroom. He just brought all kinds of amazing things into their studies, and he was a great teacher, and he connected with the students, and he just really seemed to care. But on this particular day, as the door opened and the students started walking in the classroom, they could see that something was off with Mr. Marsden. And he was kind of standing off to the side, and he had his arms crossed and his legs crossed, and he just had this kind of closed down energy. And he didn't have a smile on his face. He wasn't scowling, but he didn't look happy. And so immediately the students are like, something's off. And then they noticed that all of the chairs in the classroom had been placed into a giant circle. Well, that was different. So as they started to come in the room, Mr. Marsden said, "Sit down, shut up, and don't get up again. If you do, you will fail this course." Whoa! So now these students are sitting down, and now they've got the wonderful brain chatter. You know the brain chatter, monkey mind we call it sometimes. It's just going crazy in their head saying, "Oh my gosh, what's going on? I can't move, I can't talk. I got to sit here, what's going to happen?" Mr. Marsden then walked over to a table that was sitting in the middle of the circle. And on that table was a fishbowl. And he reached into the fishbowl, and he lifted the goldfish out, and he laid it on the desk, and he turned around, and he walked out of the room. Now, these students are sitting here watching this fish flopping around on the desk thinking, "Oh my gosh, somebody's got to do something to save this fish. But it can't be me. I can't fail this class. If I fail this class, I've got a perfect A+ average. I've got this great score. I'm going to be going to college. I need these credentials." And it just kept unfolding and unfolding. And I can't do this because there's my future. That's my future. And here's this poor little fish, just kind of flopping. Now, it probably seemed like an eternity to the kids in the class. It probably seemed like beyond eternity to the poor little fish. But suddenly, Hannah B. jumped out of her desk, said some very choice words about the assignment, ran over to the desk, picked up the goldfish, placed him back in the goldfish bowl, and turned to go back to her seat at the very moment Mr. Marsden opened the door and came into the class. Hannah knew she was in trouble. Every student in that circle knew that Hannah was in trouble, but they were so relieved by what she had done. And then Mr. Marsden surprised all of them by saying this: "What has the world done to you? What has happened in your life that you forgot that you are here at Choice, that you are here to support those who can't care for themselves, to take care of the creatures, to take care of others, using your voice, using your actions?" What happened? And that was when every student in the room realized that when Mr. Marsden gave them the assignment, took the fish out of the bowl and walked out of the room, they let him take their power with him. Every one of them gave it up and sat there waiting for someone else to come in and solve the problem. Have you ever done that? Has that ever happened to you? Where you've got something going on, you're seeing it, you're aware of it, and you don't want to get involved, but you think maybe you should, and wouldn't it be great if somebody else did this, and is this mine to do, and oh my God, and we go into all this chatter. We are here, each one of us, by divine purpose, to do, to see, to speak, to walk, to hold, to help, to support. That's why we're here. Don't give your power away to anyone else. Embrace it, even if it feels risky. By the way, he did not fail Hannah Bean. Jean Houston has this for us. At the height of laughter, the universe is flung onto a kaleidoscope of new possibilities. I like this because now we've gone through that. We've talked about the power piece a little bit, and now we're going to talk about the possibility piece. And what does laughter do for us? When was the last time you laughed so hard you could not catch your breath? When was the last time that you laughed so much, tears rolled down your cheeks, and you didn't care? I had that opportunity last evening. I was down in Colorado Springs yesterday, had the evening with some of my family, and we laughed at everything. And when we ran out of stuff to laugh at, we made up stories about each other and poked fun at each other and continued the laughter. And what it did was it was like it lifted this energy around us. It lifted this feeling we have sometimes that life is a drudgery and things are a problem and everything's a challenge and oh my gosh, it's hard. Took all of that away. And what it also did was it brought every one of our hearts together in a stronger bond, in a stronger connection. Laugh this week. Take some time. Find some stuff to laugh at. I could give you suggestions, but I'm going to let you go figure it out for yourself. There's a lot of funny things going on in the world, a lot of funny things going on in the world, and then there's a lot of really funny things going on in the world. Find that for you and laugh and allow those possibilities to open and expand. When Jillian was 7 years old, she was not a happy little girl. Her life was kind of miserable. When she would go to school, she would get in trouble because she could not sit still. And so something at Jillian was constantly moving. And when it got to the point where the energy was just over the top, she'd jump up out of her seat and she'd run around her desk or run around the room or jump up and down. And the teachers just, oh my goodness, we know that was unacceptable. So her teacher would scold her, and sometimes her teacher would punish her, and sometimes her teacher would plead with her, and sometimes her teacher would try to bargain with her. Yeah, you get it. And then the sad thing for Jillian was when she left school and went home, she got to face her mom, who already knew what happened at school. And now she was also in trouble with her mom. And she got to deal with the punishment and possibly isolation and time to go be quiet, which that wasn't her nature. And so finally the school decided it was time to have a conference with Jillian's mom. So Jillian's mom came to the school and she brought Jillian into this office area, and there were a couple of teachers sitting there. And as they got started in this meeting, Jillian became very afraid because she heard words like disorder, discipline, lack of discipline, medication, doctor. She didn't know what it all meant, but it was making her very uncomfortable as she sat in her chair with her feet tapping and her hands moving and her whole body jumping up and down while these people are talking about her life and her future. At that very moment, one of the older teachers from the school, more seasoned, let's say, came into the room and he said to the group, how about we take the adults over in this room for a few minutes and have a conversation, and we just let Jillian sit here and relax for a minute. Would you like to do that, Jillian? And she nodded her head. And they went over to this next room, which had an opening, and they could still see Jillian in this room. They could see her very clearly from the room they were moving to. And as they walked out of the room, the teacher reached over at the doorway and hit a button on a radio, and music began to play. And they all walked into the next room. And when they walked into the next room and they turned to see what Jillian was doing, they saw this child dancing. They saw her moving her arms and spinning in circles and running from one end of the room to the other, just thoroughly loving the music and the sound and what was happening and what it was teaching her body. And the instructor said to the rest of the group, I just want you to know, as you can see, Jillian's not broken. She is not dysfunctional. She does not have a disorder. She is a dancer. and she needs to dance. Her mom got her into a dance class, and the first day she went, she was so excited, and she came home laughing, cheerful, vibrant, in a way she had not been since she'd begun school. And she said to her mom, "Oh my gosh, everyone is just like me. No one of us is broken. We're all dancers." In 1981, after a career as a dancer, opening her own dance academy and receiving international recognition for her art, Gillian Lynn became the choreographer for the musical Cats. So think about that for a second. Maybe you're not broken. Maybe you are listening to the wrong song, or the wrong channel, or you're in the wrong room, or you're surrounded by the people that aren't your people. Sometimes that happens. And so for each of us, we get to step into that place of possibility and look at, okay, what's working for me? Because that's where I get to place myself, is what's working for me. And then I get to look at, once I find what's working for me and what I'm doing and how I'm taking care of me, then I have the ability and the power and the energy to support others. What a concept. What a great idea that is. So if you can't find something to laugh about this week, I encourage you to dance. I think that will support each and every one of us. Deepak Chopra says, when you discover your essential nature and you know who you really are, in that knowing itself is the ability to fulfill any dream you have. Wow. Because you are eternal possibility, the immeasurable potential of all that was, is, and will be. You are, we are, limitless potential. Oh my goodness. So when we own our power and we stand in the truth of our authentic nature, we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we allow ourselves to be seen, and then we tap into the amazing possibilities around us, what happens is we begin to transform our lives. That's what this philosophy is all about. You know, our practitioners go through years of training to learn how to support others in prayer and consciousness. The very first year of practitioner training, after the individuals have taken a few other classes, the very first year of practitioner training is all about the individual, all about you. Because what we want to do is we want to bring these wonderful people who want to be practitioners in to this study and help them get rid of their own stuff so they don't get stuck in their own stuff when they're trying to support somebody else. We've missed this idea through so much of our society, is that you've got to take care of self first. Get yourself in order, get yourself lined up, get yourself healthy, whole, whatever you need to do, then you can reach out to others. Because if you've been wounded and you haven't had the training and the support you need to move through that, you're going to have a challenging time supporting someone else who has been wounded. It's really tough to do that. So when we look at the idea of transformation, I want you to consider that vulnerability lays the framework. It helps us reshape not only who we are, but the very nature of society. We get to change everything. Vulnerability becomes something that is embraced, as I said before, not something that is ignored or shunned. When you are in relationship with another human being, and you withhold a piece of who you are not standing in your truth. You are not showing up in your authentic nature. We want to foster this vulnerability not only in ourselves, but in our family members, in our friends, in our communities, so that we can tap into that reality, that possibility of the real and the dynamic changes that we can make in this world. Now, we're at choice. I talk about this all the time. You can choose to sit over here and grumble about all the stuff that's wrong. There's no power in that. Just take my word for it. There is no power in grumbling, in complaining. It's unfortunate. Well, it's not unfortunate. That's the way it was designed. Excuse me, that's the way it was designed. So you could do that, or you could say, okay, what's mine to do? What does God need me for? How can I use these hands, these feet, my voice, whatever it is about me that I have, whatever talents you have, how can I use those to support this world and this shift that we're all looking for and talking about? Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, says the possibilities of the law are infinite, and our possibilities of using it are limitless. The only thing that will contain you, the only thing that will hold you back, the only thing that will keep you from moving forward and stepping through the fear and taking the risk is whatever you got going on up here. God does not limit us. Spirit is always here, always on, always present. So what we want to do is we want to take some time this week. Think about it. Think about what it would be like to live in a world that worked for everyone. Everyone. Oh my gosh. What would that be like? And what we have a tendency to do is we have a tendency to start down that path and go, no, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Well, not if we have that thinking. That's true. As long as we block that, we're going to be stuck right where we are. What would it be like? And then in that world that works for everyone, what is mine to do? How can I show up? What can I do? Because like I said before, it doesn't matter where you are on your lifespan. I don't care how old you are. I saw some stuff on TV this past week or so that just boggles my mind. There are people in the industry of acting, do I want to call it that? Yeah, we'll call it that. The acting industry in their 80s and 90s who are creating new series on TV and creating new films. They're acting. They're out there doing all this stuff. And I'm thinking, why did I think I was so old? Because those guys are a lot older than me. And I'm thinking, well, I probably need to start winding it down. Maybe I need to retire soon. Maybe I need to come up with a retirement plan. And Spirit laughed, and I went down that path for a couple of days, and then all of this stuff started showing up, and I'm thinking, Carol Burnett, at the age of 90, oh my goodness. It's just amazing to see these people and these actresses and actors and what they're doing. And it's like, yeah. Life has changed. The lifespan has changed. We have created the ability to be more active for more in our later years than we ever had before. You can choose what you plan to do. What I plan to do is stop thinking about retirement. Sorry, I'm here for a while. So this week I want you to tap into this idea. Tap into the law of possibility. Tap into this whole beautiful process of who we are and how we can be, and dance and laugh and share your vulnerability and look stupid from time to time. That's one of the things that we laugh about the most in my family is when one of us does something that's just absolutely crazy. And one of the other family members questions us, and it's usually me that says something that didn't fit, and someone else is asking me, and I don't even remember what words just came out of my mouth. But anyway, it's fun. It's easy. It's peaceful. It's joyful. It's vulnerability at its deepest level, and it is a beautiful thing. So as we turn the page to go into a new month, let's remember all of the things that we've covered this month, and let's take the time to just tap in to that place of being vulnerable, owning our power, and embracing the limitless possibilities of life. Please pray with me. What I know right here and right now is I know that there is a power. There is a presence. There is an energy, an entity, a creative energy of all life that I call God. We call it spirit. We call it universal wisdom. We have many names for it, but there is only one. One power, one presence, one truth. And I know this. This power is alive and well, has always been, always will be, and lives within each and every one of us. As we accept that, As we embrace that, we can look at the very context of what it means to each of us individually. We can make the choices that we want for our life, knowing that we have infinite choice, infinite possibility, and we are limitless as we live and move and breathe in the very being and presence of God. How beautiful that is. How good that feels. So right here and right now, I bless all people everywhere. The people in this room, the people who get to view this video online, all of the people we are all connected to, all of the people they are connected to, and on and on. All people are of God and are blessed. And so we give thanks for this. And I give thanks for the very opportunity to be here, to stand here and speak the truth as I know it and understand it, and allow others to hear that as well and take those beautiful gems and nuggets home with them. And so in this place of gratitude for the New Dawn community, gratitude for our amazing musicians and our support team and our volunteers, gratitude for each and every member who is here now or who has ever been a part of this community, we give great thanks. We call it good. We call it perfect. And by God, I call it done. And we just let it go and let it be, as together we say, and so it is.
In my eyes, in my mind, in my heart, in my soul, in my life, I have been searching for something, but you were my dream. You're perfect. You're golden, your light, your love. You're perfect, you're golden, you're my light, my love. When I'm sad and dark, shallow and in doubt, when I'm trying my best to put one foot in front of the other, you're perfect, you're golden, you're the light of my life, you're my love for forever. In your reflection, I'm perfect. So I keep looking at you to keep witnessing my perfection in you as me. Whoa, la-di-da-di-da-di-di, la-di-da-di-di, la-di-da-di-di-do. Lie-di-di-di-di, lie-di-di-di-di, lie-di-di-di-di-do. You're always there, you never leave. You're holding me, you set me free. A guiding light, your empathy, your confidence to express in and as me. You're perfect, you're golden, you're the light of my life, you're my love from forever. In your reflection, I'm perfect, so I keep looking at you to keep witnessing that I
perfect. I'm golden. You're the light of my life. You're my love from forever.
In your reflection,
I'm perfect. So I'll keep looking at you to keep witnessing my perfection in you as me. Whoa, lie-di-di-di-di, lie-di-di-di-di, lie-di-di-di-di-dum. Lie-di-di-di-di, lie-di-di-di-di, lie-di-di-di-di-dum.
you're perfect, golden light, my love. You're perfect, golden light, my love. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello. I'm Reverend Jen Wild, Senior Minister for New Dawn Center for Spiritual Living. New Dawn Center is a global community, and we welcome all people, all paths, all ways of thinking, all philosophies. So know that you are welcome here, and thank you for joining our online community.